Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be talking about some of the migration winners and losers thus far from the 9 S2 Plus KVK groups that are going to be heading in first to the new season T1/S2++, as the homies and the grills call it. So, this is going to be comprised of, as we mentioned before, SS2-2 through SS2-10. Now, I'm going to show you where the movement has happened, so which kingdoms gained players, which kingdoms lost players, and then we're also going to go in and speculate which potential alliances could have moved out of kingdoms that lost players. And then once the summary hits for these 9 KVK groups for the kingdoms that are in them, which will be in a day, a little over a day, we will be able to then see the home servers that will show up on the actual player profiles. And when that happens here, I think it's in the middle between Alliance and Merits, that'll actually be where we can see where specifically players and, for the most part, alliances have moved to. And then we'll be able to give you kind of the hard numbers, comparing a sheet that I'm going to show you later in the video to give you the real, hey, this is what actually happened versus this is what we think could have happened. So let's start off first with defining where has the movement happened between these 79 kingdoms. Okie dokie, artichokes, here we go. As we switch a Rooney, we're going to work our way top down, starting with Kingdom 1. So this data was taken essentially after migration closed on the 23rd, going into reset on the 24th, and we last did a big activity. If you remember, we did the top or most active kingdoms, where I did that video as I pulled that data on the 13th of January, right? So that was 13 days ago, almost 2 weeks. And then 10 days later is when we pulled the data again at the end of that migration phase for that end of season timeline that we just showed you in game. So starting with Kingdom 1, we'll do this first, and then I'm going to show you the changes up here on the next sheet, where we look at some of the alliances that could have moved from kingdoms for those that had outgoing players. Okay, Kingdom 1, we see was full, 10 days later was crowded. Kingdom 2 went from normal to full. That's a pretty big jump, right? That's 3 status tiers. We see Kingdom 6 saw 2 tier movements, normal to crowded. We had to go normal, active, and then there. And then 2 big jumps here for Kingdom 7 and 8 that you could see, where they each jumped 3 status levels. Then we go to the next one, and again, most of these are highlighted in yellow from what you could see. 23, same thing. 3 big jumps here going into 23. We see Kingdom 27, where they went from active to crowded to just 1 level. 28 did 1. 29 ended up losing 2. 30 lost 2. 31 lost 2. 32 lost 2 as well. 33 lost 1. 36 jumped up 1. 37 lost 1. 40 lost 1 with people moving out. 43 was full, went down to normal. So just mass exodus there for 43. Kind of mid-level outpour for those migrating off of 45, going from crowded to normal, right? So a loss of 2. 46 loss of 1. 47 gaining 1, going crowded to full. 48 active to normal, so loss of 1. 49 normal to active, gain of 1. 50, we see loss of 1, active normal. 51, loss of 2, crowded normal. 52, active normal, so loss of 1. 54, again, now full, was normal. And you can even see from the timelines, mostly normal with the exception of the one time that they were crowded just before December. I think I might have taken that around November, October sometime. Or I'm sorry, actually it might have been, oh no, those are later dates. So yeah, it was before December, at least a month or 2. But then again, we look at 57 going crowded to full, so 1 status change. 58 normal to crowded, so 2 status changes. 60 saw normal to active, so 1 status change. 61 now a full kingdom, and you can see consistently they were only really normal with 1 active. So again, lots of players migrating to 61. 63 we see active to normal, so 1 position loss, and then we end up going here active to crowded, 1 position gain for 67. 68 mass exodus going out, full to normal. Then we see 69 going up to normal to crowded. 70 down to crowded to normal, so decent amount of players leaving. We then see 75 normal to active, so one jump up. 77, 78 similar, along with 80, all seeing one jump ups. 81 crowded to active, so going down one. 82, lots of people going in there. Normal to full, so big jump of players migrating in. 84, active to crowded, so only jumping one. 85, loss of two statuses, so mid-size levels leaving 85. Then we see 87, one jump up from crowded to full. 89, active to crowded, one jump, and that rounds it out, right, for what we have there. Also, oh no, never mind, I took the notes on my other sheet. So now we're going to show you the other sheet. And on this sheet particularly, there were 79 kingdoms in total, like I mentioned. 21 kingdoms had players that left out of the 79. So you're talking, about a quarter, right? A little more than 25%, 27, 28%, give or take, that had players leaving. So the ones that we highlighted are the kingdoms that we saw. And bear in mind, this data was taken in November 21st last year, where these 79 kingdoms went into Season 2+. They have not been able to migrate out yet, with the exception of when the migration phase just ended, right? So we should say they just migrated out, to be more specific, or they're started to see some migration changes. Up until that point, all of this data was accurate prior to that 3-day window. So, given that these are the changes that happened, this is where we know alliances from these kingdoms and or players could have moved. Now, given that if we are, and I'm going to scoot this over here so we can see. So, if we're starting with Kingdom 1, we have to understand how big of size changes happened in order for us to estimate appropriately on who could have moved out. So, given that Kingdom 1 saw a full to crowded change, understanding that could be about 75 to 100 players that we estimate. Again, that is on the side, let me be clear here, that's on the side where players migrating in. If you're normal, you can have 350 people migrate in. If you're active, you can have 200 players migrate in, and if you're crowded, you can have, even though they didn't tell us that, we estimate it's probably 75 to 100 people that can migrate in. The difference with when you are full and going out is that it could potentially be more than that need to leave, maybe less, but it may not be that exact number. And maybe more often than not, you could consider that maybe it is more. If you're especially having players that are powering up and again, players that are also becoming more active, even if maybe they weren't that active, that could also inflate the numbers where maybe you might have to have more people leave before the status changes. Again, there's not really enough that we know when it comes to players leaving compared to the information we have as it pertains to players joining a kingdom. So we're just going to speculate in kind of a soft gauge way, which is that this kingdom went from full to crowded. Now, do I think TA and TM, either of these alliances potentially left? Bear in mind that I was only calculating alliances over 1 billion power at the time when I pulled this data. On November 21st, this is when we were doing the big KVK group preview data for those 9 S2 Plus, or those 9 KVK groups going into S2 Plus, which was going to be the newest season at the time. So alliances that were under 1 billion power could also be over 1 billion power now. Now, do I think it's likely that TA and TM left Kingdom 1? I just don't see it. I never got any reports that any of the players or any majority of players from the alliances, the entire alliances left. So I don't think that's likely. I think what's more likely is maybe some players from both the alliance, I should say up to both the alliances, or players from other alliances left. Then we get to number 28. Now, with number 28, theirs was a very small change. They went from active to normal. So could this potentially be where we might have seen, for example, hang on, let me go to 28 here, right? So that would be this one. Let's do it like this. This is easier. So this one where we have 28 RR and 28 AN. Possibility that one of these alliances could have left going from active to normal. I think that's pretty likely, right? Again, if we're playing the percentages based on the numbers, based on the activity level changes, I think it's likely that probably one of these alliances could have left. Again, right, we do also have like some migration movement, and I don't think, let me see if I got any reports here from 28 AN or 28 RR. I didn't. So I don't see anything on here, and this is from things that people had told me. Some of you might be familiar with this. This was off of the health migration. I have movement here. These were kind of the rumors or unconfirmed reports that I was getting. But at the moment, I don't see anything here that reflects that, showing at least any of the names that I can see on here for either of those alliances. Then we get to 29. 29 is crowded to normal. So this is 2 tier levels. Now, do I think this is likely? That given this is 2 tier levels, there's a good chance that 3 billion power here for PSC means that they left? I don't know if that's going to move it that much. I think it's more likely that Noir left and they ended up moving. And I think this is something that I actually ended up hearing, which is that Noir and some of Dust Dawn migrated into 82. So that's something I heard. And if we're going off of the 2 tier level drop, and then we look at the data here, that would indicate and tend to give us cause for, okay, well, this makes a lot more sense now. A bigger alliance than 3 billion would have probably had to move. Bear in mind, PSC is obviously stronger than 3 billion, right? Keeping in mind that this data was collected last year in November. I think it's likely that, right, the Noir situation plays out, right? And they did move out of 29 and ended up going to 82. Now let's look at 30. So for 30, it's always nice when you can connect all the dots from different data sets, right? And just combine it to be awesome. Calm down, boss. Okay, let's continue. Then we go to 20. Oh, sorry. I think we were at 29, right? Yeah, because that was... No, okay, now we're at 30. So 30 went from full to active, right? So dropping 2 levels. 30 is where TFS and TDR are. Now, we already know, because it has been confirmed, that TFS did move to 23. So we know they left, and that would obviously cause that big enough status change. Let's go to the next one, which is 31. 31 dropped 2 levels from crowded to normal. ANCS, LOPC, and DOB, along with a few... Hang on, I think there might be one more here. And LOCY, right? So those 4 alliances that you can see from here at 4.7 bill to 1.4, again, they're stronger now. Some of these alliances, I believe we do know left. So ANCS and Laws, from what was reported, was that ANCS, Laws, and FGHT, whether it's some or many of the players, moved to 44, and then they ended up moving, I believe, to 27. So we know for a fact that ANCS left. However, did all of them leave, or did just some, or just a good amount of the players left? That would clearly allow for that migration switch there in 31 to drop from crowded to normal, which is 2 tier levels. Let's go to 32. When we look at 32, they went from crowded to normal, so dropping 2 tier levels as well. This is NKNW and then TON1 that you can see here from that. Now, from what I got here on this one, I think somebody let me know about this. This was... Where do I have NK? Let's see. Nope. Let's do TON. No. NW. Interesting. Okay, so I actually don't have anything reported. I thought someone told me about something that happened here. I can't remember. However, given that they did drop 2 levels, I mean, you can make an argument from going from crowded to normal that, yeah, maybe NKNW ended up leaving. Maybe it was just NK that left, right? Maybe it was just NW because, again, they're definitely stronger now than they were at that time. But I think it's safe to say 1 to 2 alliances probably left at minimum in order to drop from crowded to normal. Then we look at 33. 33 only dropped 1 level from active to normal. And this is 066, 28KN, and EMP. And then, oh, hang on, there was one more. I have to, again, make sure everyone gets a shout out, and Yoda. So those are the 4 alliances there. I don't believe I have anything here on 066, 28KN, or EMP. Yeah, I don't have any reports here on my migration movement tab. So given that they dropped 1 level, yeah, I mean, do I think that there's a chance maybe 28KN, maybe EMP left? Possibly. I mean, again, given that it's active to normal... Sorry, given that it went active to normal, they could have technically had more people. Because remember, anytime it goes to normal, you could arguably have everyone that left, right? And I think that's a distinction that needs to be clear, because if you have everyone that leave, it's not going to go anything beyond normal. It's going to stay at normal. So, again, with that in mind, again, it could have been up to everyone. Then let's go to 37. So with 37, they ended up dropping from active to normal, so similar thing, 1 tier level. There was 2 alliances here, FGH7 and Clue 3. I don't know if I have anything here for FGH7 that anyone reported to me. No, I don't. I have an FSKG, FGHT. I don't have a 7. So again, unsure. on how many people could have potentially moved here. But again, we did see some fluctuation going outwards. Then we look at 40. So when we take a look at 40, they ended up going from active to normal, and similar thing. This is NET, REX, R, and ROP for the 4 alliances there. NET sounds familiar. I don't know. Let me take a look. Yeah, okay, I don't have anything on my sheet. So, unsure on who left, but again, it could have been everyone. It could have just been a few. Then we get to 43. 43 is full to normal. So, you know for a fact that a good amount of people left. 43. This was SK1, SK2. We had, and again, they were the strongest kingdom. You can see their rank was 1 going into the last, going into the, just before the new season started. And you can see this is SK1, SK2, DNS, DNA, and FAL2. Now, this is, I do have something here because with SK1 and SK2, they moved together to 69. So again, if you're looking at the power they had, given that that power is stronger now, that makes a lot of sense that they ended up dropping that much. I don't know if I got any reports on DNS. I also heard that maybe they might have changed their name, I think, for DNS and DNA. If that's right, someone will have to let me know if that's the case. However, again, it is confirmed that both of the 2 biggest alliances in that kingdom did leave. Then we get to 45. With 45, let's see where we're at on time. Okay, well, we're not that bad. 45 is crowded to normal, so losing 2 positions here. This was RTG hyphen RTG squiggly, T hashtag C and NE-4 for the 4 alliances that were there. I feel like someone told me something about RTG. Let me double check here on my sheet. Oh, you know what? Maybe they didn't. I swear I thought someone did. Oh, they did, yeah. So this was where BXS, RTG, and OWL ended up merging. And I think they just kind of brought like the strongest people, like T5s and fighter and T4 fighters. And they ended up, I believe they ended up going, sorry, this was actually, let me be clear here. I believe some of the people from OWL may have merged, was what was reported, but however, BXS and RTG ended up going to 54, and OWL ended up going to 6. Again, was kind of what was included. And again, we'll probably get to those alliances here in a bit, but as long as it pertains to RTG, they did end up leaving, being that they were the strongest alliance in that kingdom, so it makes sense, right, where you ended up seeing that movement. Then we go to 46. With 46, we're seeing they went active to normal, dropping 1 status change. I don't believe I have anything here confirmed because this was FA, AF, and HOL. I don't think I have any reports on any of the alliances moving, at least, again, that someone had let me know. So unsure on those exactly. However, we do know that some people left. When we get to Kingdom 48. Now with 48, they went from active to normal. So again, only dropping 1 position. We end up seeing BG hashtag A, BG hashtag N, and then BG hashtag 1 for those 3 alliances. I don't think I have any reports here. Yeah, I don't have any reports for BG, but again, we obviously know some people left. Then we go to Kingdom 50. Now with 50, they went active to normal. So again, only 1 position lost there. 50 squiggly W, HZ, and FKU. I did not get any updates on potential movement here, but once again, we know people left. Then we get to number 51, or Kingdom 51. 51 went from crowded to normal. So this was 2 position losses there. This is BXS, RVG, BXL. Again, this is pretty obvious, like we mentioned, right? BXS ended up migrating to 54 with RTG, so that makes sense for why they ended up seeing that big status change. Then we go to 52. 52 ended up going from active to normal, so only losing 1 position here. Now, I think someone told me they did. So MILF and FGHT, again, whether it's up to all of them, I know there were some MILF. So MILF and FGHT ended up, I think they said they were taking like the best fighters or the most active fighters, and they left to 60. So that makes sense for the drop here. Some of the leftover MILF ended up going and joining DILFs, and they're going to be staying in 52 from what was last reported. Then we end up getting down here to 63, and just a couple more. And when we look at 63, we end up seeing that they went from active to normal. So again, only 1 position difference. This is where we had HRT. Now, is it possible that HRT left? Yeah, it could be, kind of given. I don't think I have any reports here on HRT. Let me double check. Yep, nope, didn't get anything. But is it likely, given they were at least at the time, the only alliance over 1 billion power in 63. I mean, yeah, I do think it is. Now, is that all of them? Maybe some of them? If anyone's in there, let us know in the comments. Then we go to 68. So for 68, they ended up going from full to normal. So this was just a mass we out deuces. And in 68, this is EIS and LSK. Now, I think I did get something on them. So I have here, EIS went from 68 to 61, and LSK ended up joining, I believe some of them joined EIS. Now, LSK could have, I don't know if anyone from LSK went with EIS over to 61. Thankfully, I was able to mute myself just in time. That was loud sneeze. Now, if anyone from LSK maybe have joined EIS and they went there, right, let me know. Otherwise, again, from what I have reported is that some of them, oh, excuse me, I'm basically saying the same thing now that I'm actually reading this appropriately. So it was reported that some of SK, some of OG, some of Fake, some of LSK, and some of VVV joined EIS. EIS moved from 68 to 61. There we go. So this makes sense. Now we get to Kingdom 70. So with 70, this was going crowded to normal. So 2 position losses here. PTW and FTP. Is it likely that PTW left? I think very likely. I actually think I have something here. Yeah. So PTW looks like they ended up going from 70 to 53. Is where they went. Again, that was what that's what was last reported to me. As always. Now remember, if there's any changes, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Or for anything I missed, or if you want to add some context, right? Please do. Then we get to the last 2, which is 81. In 81, they ended up going from crowded to active, so just a 1 position loss. And when we look at 81, we have Tribe, VVV, VVV2. Now remember, some of VVV joined EIS. I don't know Tribe. Okay, there we go. So VVV and Tribe from 81. So maybe a chance that some of them went to 7 is what was reported to me. Now, it was initially reported that VVV was going to 7. I don't know if anyone from Tribe is going there. I have a note that says VVV and Tribe were from 81, but I don't have anything that was indicating if Tribe members or anyone did go to 7, so I'm sure some people can clear that up for us. Then we get to the last one, which is 85. Now, with 85, they went from crowded to normal, so loss of 2 positions. Now, with 85, this is where we have Owl, BDR, Owl 2. We already know that Owl ended up going to 6, as it was reported to me. And I think I heard that from a few sources. Hopefully that's accurate. But again, that would give us enough reason to see why they dropped 2 positions. And then potentially if BDR, right, ended up going anywhere on their end, right? With that in mind, that pretty much closes us out for all the potential movement that could have happened thus far from alliances or specific alliances and or players that left kingdoms, along with letting you guys know some of where those people went, right, is unconfirmed until we can look at the summary. And then 2, which of the kingdoms changed activity statuses for these 9 S2 plus KVK groups that are going to be going into Season T1/S2++ first. Okie dokie, artichokes. That is it for me. Again, hope you enjoyed as always. I hope you guys like being able to see what's happening in the world of Call of Dragons, where I can give you as much updates and news as we possibly can in a nice, educational, and informative way. That is going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.